Good evening, good afternoon, good day, depending on where you're at. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope you're all well. We're almost halfway to the week, so that's exciting. We've survived another couple of days. So, we're here in beautiful New Zealand, beginning in Hamilton. We'll make our way down to Napier, flying past Mountain Doom. We'll then make our way to a town that I both can't pronounce and not sure I want to try. It's Whanganui. That might be it. Whanganui. And from there, we fly to the capital of New Zealand in Wellington. So we got some friends in the chat already and on the ground. Bad Dog's here. Hello to you as well. Pilot Peely, good evening to you, sir. Kingsman's here. Good evening. Tortuga, good to see you. Seamus McNeil is in. Good to see you, my friend. Ben McClure, sorry he has an online meeting and won't be able to watch. That's okay, my dude. We'll be thinking of you. Randy Hurst is here. I'm looking forward to it as well. Papa Joe B is in the house. Good to see you. Diggle's here. Well, hello. Hey, Kingsman. Catbat is in. Happy Tuesday to you and the Fireflies. Noel is in. Never visited here. This is the second time in Flight Sim I've been to New Zealand. The first time was probably in the first month of Flight Sim. And Murphy did a tour down in the Southern Island. So I thought, well, let's check out the Northern Island. Whanganui. Interesting. Spent 2 weeks on the North Island 2 years ago. Nice. So yeah, and today's vehicle of choice is the Piper Seminole. Because, well, it's nice. And has some nice speed to it. Can't wait to tour the island and get the party started. We're going to go ahead and pop into the cockpit. We're going to go ahead and close the door. Stow those. Get our pilot out. Close our baggage door. We're going to hide that. Pop a mixture go to full. We're going to open our cowl flaps. Get our throttle to... Wow, that's really sensitive. Cracked. Let's see, alternator master, battery master, rotating beacon. As we lean towards this little pilot window, clear prop, and then we remember to turn the fuel on because that helps. So we'll do it again. Hey, and they live. I'll go ahead and close that for now. Avionics are coming on. Taxi and nav lights are on. As there's a bit of a hang up. Come on, flight sim. You know you want to work. I'd knock on the window if it would work, but come on, flight sim. What you doing? Certainly, it does not bode well. There we go. Good night. That we're gonna turn that on. Jealous. Nice. So the squawk is squawking. Make sure our altimeter's set, directional gyro is set. All right. Oh dear. So we're going to release the parking brake. Increase the throttle ever so slightly so as to get rolling. There we go. There's actually a mod highlighting all the locations. Nice. So we're gonna, there's a nice looking sky lane there. You see Papa Joe B. There's Dougal McTavish. We make our way down to the active. So we're on scattered clouds at about 0700 in the morning. And shrimp is totally white litteries for me. Ooh, that's not good. So the winds are currently out of 270. See Bad Dog on the ground. We're really cranking the speed. Can stand to slow down just a bit. I've not heard anything new about the Waco. I also have not looked today. I've been in kind of a scramble about some things today, so I haven't had the chance to look. But it's one I'm definitely excited for. we're making our way to the departure point of the runway. Getting blown around a little bit. There's a real-world video of an approach to Queenstown, New Zealand that's worth watching. The title is "This Is Why We Fly." Check it out. Yeah, definitely. Alright, so we'll turn around when we're on the piano keys. Slowed down just a hair. Alright. So we'll 1 notch of flaps in. Gonna check our takeoff trim. Oh. And how come you didn't have the turning circle on? Couldn't tell you. So we're going to go ahead and start our takeoff roll. Oh dear. Aileron into the wind. Dance with the rudder. Back a little bit and we're up. Tap on the brakes. Positive rate gear coming up. Altitude. Yeah, who needs real life anyway? Yeah, I agree. So we'll orbit the airport once or twice, waiting for everyone to get up and away. But we got quite the crowd today. We even have ailerons into the wind with us. Good to see you, my dude. This is a beautiful looking place. This is a beautiful looking airplane. So we're starting to skim into the clouds. Wayland, sorry I won't be flying tonight. First day of work tomorrow. Well, that's alright. Glad to have you regardless. And hope your first day of work goes well. That's something I'm going to have to start considering very fervently myself due to some very recent events. So I don't have a particular altitude in mind for our cruise altitude, but I'm looking to get above this cloud layer. And we've got to be high enough to get over some terrain, so we're going to look at probably 5,500. As we're going to go ahead and activate nav mode. And we'll get ready to hit the altitude mode. As we start descending, of course. So we're going to start reducing power. We're going to go to 1,023 inches. 2,500 RPMs. To there, 500 feet. Close enough anyway. We'll go ahead and reduce to 2,400 RPM. Just making sure everything is hunky-dory inside the car. It certainly does. I do enjoy it. My only, I guess, gripe is the autopilot's just weird. It should be Tarso. I say that without having flown it myself, but I would imagine that it would be just fine. There we go. How about that? No, it's a little bit different than the one that's in the Mooney. Basically, this one, the altitude hold, you have to get to the altitude when you hit the ALT button, or the altitude hold button on, or when you click it, you have to be at the altitude, and then it'll hold that altitude. In the Mooney, you're able to set an altitude and whatnot. Just a little bit. Yeah, so that's really my only niggly bit about the Seminole is it's just the autopilot. It's weird. It's not bad, and it works. It's just weird. So slowed down in an effort to let people be able to catch up. They see the fireflies coming in the background. Oh dear. We've got the network error going on. Oh, servers. They must be getting ready for something. Who knows? We can. I'm afraid of messing with too many buttons. That'll cause problems. We all know what buttons do. Can try the North Europe server, I suppose. So we're giving the North Europe server a bash, just to see if that's a little more stable. Yep. I agree, Seamus. I'm not gonna press too many buttons. Y'all can give things a bash. I'm gonna let it see if it sorts itself out. So we'll just give it some time and see what happens. We've got plenty of flying to do, so we've got the time to let it wait a bit. As we explore and just take in the land. So current speed is indicating just under 150 knots. Ground speed is indicating 162. Gonna bring the RPM down to 2300 RPM. North Europe. Giving it a bash, see what happens. Yep, so we'll just give it some more time and let it sort itself out. Would you look at that? As my pilot Peely, don't feel too bad. As long as we're on the same course, we'll end up at the same destination. After Murph's stream last night, I did some flying on my own, getting myself ready for the upcoming SimWings event. And man, is it gonna be nice. It is gonna be a nice flight. Long, but very nice. Well, sure, I think maybe I can... Maybe that's not what I wanted. The Cap 10's an interesting little airplane. To say that I'm enjoying it may be a bit of a stretch for now, but it's certainly taken some getting used to. Kingsman SimWings are a charitable organization of sorts that put on events and take donations to help provide those in a less fortunate circumstance to be able to enjoy the joys of flight simulation, whether it be by flight sim hardware, computer, or whatnot. It's a really fantastic organization. If it doesn't, I believe the SimWings link is in the description on YouTube. But if it doesn't, I can do it myself. Yeah, it's a really great organization that Dougal and Pilot Peely are both a big part of. And I'm looking forward to streaming that event on, I believe it's the 17th of February, just right after Valentine's Day. Kebmo25 is in. Good to see it. Goblin 2 Bis is jumping from France to the land of the Lords of Rings. Absolutely, as people appear on my screen. They're back. So soon we'll be seeing Mountain Doom, at least in the distance. Hope you're doing well, Kebbo. Good to see it. Got Warhamster ahead and high. Biggles is here. We're flying in New Zealand on the North Island, so the land of the Lord of the Rings. And we're actually on the North Europe server for right now. The East USA was acting a little goofy, so we're trying something a little different. Just for the sake of some stability. So you can almost make out Mount Doom between some clouds off in the distance. Excuse me, so it was the 13th of February, so the day before Valentine's Day. So if you're interested in flying along, be sure to register for the flight. That's something I still need to do. A little distracted by at least giving the flight a bit of a test fly, see what it was like. And it's going to be in Chile. So look forward to that. I'm going to make sure that I stream that while flying. And Elisa is here. Well, I take popping in from your sick bed. Well, hope you feel better soon, Annalisa. And Mount Doom is looking cool in the distance. The Simwings flight's going to be very far from just popping on the autopilot and having a look. See, it's going to be a flight. I see the dark side has cookies, and I like cookies. Maybe a little too much, but who can say no to cookies? There's Catbat 9 off there, and there's Warhamster. Absolutely, Warhamster. It's just taken some use to flying it, and I'm still trying to dial in my joystick to fly it better. I've got 4 different springs to choose from, and it's finding which one works the best overall. And so far, the stiffest one has worked for most things, especially fighter jets. But I'll keep trying them out. Papa Joe B, apparently you're in the Twilight Zone, I guess. That's weird. Catbat, the dark side has cookies. The dark side being Twitch. I always enjoy looking at the surrounding scenery of our flights, but sometimes it's nice and kind of immersive to see some clouds below the plane. I stayed for a night down here on the lake at 12 o'clock. Well, if Annalisa made the cookies, then there's sure to be good cookies. That's really odd, Kingsman. Have you done the method that involves the dev mode and looking for your virtual flying file system and all that fun stuff? So this is, I think, cookie for... Well, if they're dangerous, make sure that you feed them while wearing aviator sunglasses. Because that's the proper way to be dangerous. I saw it in a movie once, so it has to be true. Well, we'll see if we can get you sorted on Discord there, Kingsman. We'll do some diving. There you go, Annalisa. You've got the look. So next time you serve some cookies to your enemies, that's what you got to wear. Randy Hurst. Thank goodness for autopilot. Your nose is glued to the window. I know how you feel, dude. Being able to just look out and just take in the sights is just amazing. Just be careful of the Windex. Peely, I reduced the lower layer just so we were skimming the tops. So it probably reduced the number of clouds. So it's kind of a somewhere between few clouds and scattered. Yeah, and it's worth noting the app data folder in your user folder is a hidden folder. There should be a setting in the File Explorer window to see hidden folders. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what the setting is, what it looks like. But it should be there. Bad Dog, that's definitely I don't know if that would be the same for Steam version and the Microsoft Store version, or Windows Store, or whatever you want to call it, version. But that's basically the right default location for the community folder. So checking the charts, we should be fine altitude-wise. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll do our best to get you squared away. You can almost see Mount Doom. Steam versus Microsoft Store, it might have a little bit to do with it. I just don't rightly know off the top of my head. There's a hammy. I'm not sure. Looking at their screenshots, it's hard to tell. So it's difficult to say for sure. It looks like it might, but again, you know, I can't really. And I think it should be due out here shortly, you know, within the week or so. I know the F-15 is still a week and a half or so out yet. Right around the release of the big United Kingdom Ireland update. The last post I saw from them directly was either the 20th or the 21st. A Wednesday or a Thursday. Again, that's just last I looked. DC design. The Eagles will be released either Wednesday the 20th or Thursday the 21st of January from Just Flight. The Microsoft Store version will follow hopefully within a few weeks. And that was as of their post on 8 January of this year. I did hear him say that. I'm looking straight from DC Design's Facebook page, and it says the 20th or 21st. So if I were to hazard a guess, I would go with DC Design's Facebook post. as Hammy goes. Let's see. Biggles says that's very interesting. When will Ireland, UK? That's going to be, I believe, the 22nd. It's going to be later this month. That's due out imminently within a week and a half or so. Does it, can you slow just us tail entry? I certainly can. So we're going to, here's what we're doing. 21 inches of manifold. 21 in about 2100 RPM. Now I am interested to see what exactly is going to be covered in the UK Ireland update, because initially they had just been calling it the UK update, and then a recent blog post they referred to it as the UK Ireland update. So from what I'm given to understand, Ireland has a tendency to be a little finicky with, you know, satellite imagery and whatnot, which is fair play. But it'd be nice to see Ireland get a facelift. Not that it looks bad, but they're doing some nice things around the world with different places and making them look great. So here's hoping. We're about 15 minutes out, and this has been the longest leg of the flight at a whopping 120 nautical miles. We're now in what I will refer to as the foothills of Mount Doom. On our way to Napier. I haven't seen updates on the T-45C Goshawk from India Fox Echo, other than that they posted an update on the 7th declaring that they had gone for the color MFDs as opposed to the classic black and green. Look at the state of this. There's Biggles. So mind the altitude while going over this part of the island. don't get any branches stuck in the wheel wells. Look at that. It's like a scene out of a movie. So do the T-40 already pick up us mere ground troops for experience of target acquisition training. In the sim, I have, it is currently 0741 a.m. Make sure you're on the North Europe server. I had to. We just tried it out for the sake of trying it, and then I ended up having to toggle my multiplayer on and off in the data saving settings in the under general settings. There you are. Huzzah! That's what I'm given to understand. I can't say with 100% understanding of X-Plane. I've never owned X-Plane, so I don't know a whole lot about it. But I'm given to understand that X-Plane does not have multiplayer in the same vein as Microsoft Flight Sim. However, with things like VATSIM or Joint FS, it does bring a multiplayer element into it. So we're getting close. We're about 18 nautical miles. About 7 minutes. I think it's just a matter of they may focus on different things than like Flight Sim is doing, which is fair. I've only really played the Microsoft Flight Sims, so for me, getting this was just kind of a no-brainer. Although, to be fair, there were a number of occasions where I almost picked up X-Plane just because I wanted to get into Flight Sim, or I wanted to get into Flight Sim again, but FSX was so out of date. But then I couldn't justify it because by default, X-Plane didn't look really any better, so I didn't see the point. I mean, I use simulator and game a lot of times interchangeably when it comes to flight sims. Certified or otherwise, it's just sometimes it's easier to say in conversation. Annalisa with a tier 1 subscription for 2 months in a row now. Many thanks, Annalisa. Gotta go back to bed. You have a good rest and you feel better soon, Annalisa. We will catch you next time. So we're getting danger close. So we're 10 miles out, so we're going to go ahead and deactivate the autopilot, prop and mixture go to full, and we start reducing manifold pressure to start our descent. I'm not so sure about that, Seamus. I'm seeing it. It's just a lot of YouTube talk. Not much in the way of Twitch chat going on, comparatively. So we're just going to deactivate that. Yeah, Warhamster, I'm seeing Twitch chat on YouTube, so... it's possible. So we've got a lot of altitude to lose, so we're going to drop the power significantly. It's still up for me, Peely. Both on YouTube and Twitch. So, airfield in sight. We're going to go for what I'm going to guess is runway 27. We're starting to get a little bumpy. Now, this is a definite downside to a low-wing airplane in general, but extra challenging with a big ol' extra engine in the way. That it's probably a 2.5. I was given a big old guess without having a chart in front of my face. Oh, buttons. Buttons, buttons. Can't find the right button. Ah, you'll be fine. It's only partially, it's partially asphalt and partially grass. Okay, so we're going to nacho flaps. Get to our blue line, gear down, second notch of flaps in. It's weird that one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to, if I can ever manage to get VR, is pattern work, and just being able to look like I would in the real aircraft. So next notch of flaps in. We're turning on to final. Shot a little bit. Kind of almost going sterile cockpit. Apologize for the lack of talking. Takes a little bit of concentration. That's all the flaps we got, so we're on final, we're committed. Smooth as butter. Cool. And whoa the plane up a little bit. A little bit of toe braking, holding back on the yoke. We're going to turn around. Alright, we're parked up, getting our drone cam. Get ourselves. And I thought that camera would be faster. All good, as there's Druid. Druid's inbound for landing. A little high, that's okay. And Druid is down. Nicely done. There's Warhamster. Solid approach. And touchdown. 6 points. There's Dougal. Sounds like a Baron. And it is with Biggles. Barons with Biggles. I like the sound of that. Warhamster says the bar is open. Healy's in. Ooh. Hard landing for Kingsman. Kept her going though. It's Commandant Muttley's in. There's another Baron of Rad Pilot Randy even. There's Catbat. Aha, Goblin 2bis is Druid. You were number 2 after, well, you're 1 after me. Yes. Fantastic landings thus far by everyone. There's Papa Joe, followed closely by Tortuga. There's Bad Dog. The only one left. Someone's stuff to sort out. See you next. You have a good one, Peely. Thanks for flying with us, and we'll catch you next time. Looking forward to the Sim Wings event on the 13th. You take care. At the risk of missing only 2. This one. Ailerons into the wind with a greaser. The DA-62 of Tarso. coming up is USA PR1. In the King Air. Nicely done, everyone. Yeah, it's not common to see one that a runway that's half asphalt, half grass. But here we are. That being said, I'm gonna get back into the cockpit. Release the parking brake. There we go. Get the wheels moving, and we'll taxi down to the other end of the runway. For our next leg, which will take us from Napier down to over to the other places. I got Big Ears 60 just subscribed on Twitch. Many thanks, my friend. Hope you're well, my friend, and doing well. Cheers. Cheers to you again and your 2-month streak. Many thanks, my friend. It's greatly appreciated. Ooh, this is what you call a fast taxi. Back that down just a hair. Needed the extra oomph just for getting rolling in the soft turf. So this actually works out fairly well in our favor taking off, because we are going to be heading in a southwesterly direction. So runway 25 is our proper runway of choice this time round. I'll get in to position and hold. We've got Papa Joe B and Commandant Muttley and everyone else in short order. Everybody's here. Here goes to Rich. And we're up. Tap the toe brakes. Positive rate, gear up. Flaps going up. We're going to go ahead and start reducing power now. So we'll start our left orbit, or left-hand orbit. And just keeps looking more and more beautiful, this sim. Yeah, it's definitely an odd runway, being half and half. Not common whatsoever. Alright, so basically we're going to go ahead. Nav mode activated. So we'll turn on course. Go to vertical speed, and we're going to go up at 500 feet a minute for the time being. According to the charts, we're going to need to be above 6,600 feet, so we're going to go to about 7,000 for the time being. Zeal, this late, guys. Thanks for letting me tag along. I have some VFR studying to do and some training to get done with Sloan. That's why I'm not about. That's no worries there, Stuart. Glad to have you along. Glad you enjoyed it. And we'll definitely keep up with you on the Discord and otherwise. So you take care. And we'll catch you. Wayland is calling it a night. You have a good one, and we'll catch you next time. You have a good rest. Red Dragon is in. Evening all. Just getting going. Have you just left Napier? We just left Napier on the North Europe server. The East USA server was being a little funny, so we changed it up a little bit. But we just left, and we're on our way to November Zulu Whiskey Uniform. In fact, you can still see Napier down below. Absolutely stunning visuals. So there's 6,000 feet. Once we hit 6,005, we'll hit this little altitude hold button. Awesome. And hold. So we'll make sure we're keeping a pace for our slower folks. As we have Warhamster and a goose. We'll and close our cowl flaps. Biggles up high and Commandant Muttley above. Absolutely stunning. Now, this is one of the best parts about the sim, just in a general sense, is being able to have seamless multiplayer. explore the world, and the fact that it looks fantastic is just icing on the cake, in my opinion. War Hamster's cat is on a mission. Would you look at that? Now that's a view. Unreal. So I think on Thursday we're gonna return to Michigan. It's been a minute, and I thought, you know what, I'm feeling a little flight sim homesick, so we'll do some touring of the Mitten. Pales in comparison to places like here in New Zealand, but it's home. Can't wait for the UK Ireland update. We'll do lots of flying around there. Hopefully a few with our good friend Azimuth along, sharing some story of some maritime mishaps. Because history will show that there's a lot of material to cover over in that neck of the woods. Starting to get bumpy, so it probably means we're getting close to a more mountainous region. Mount Doom is somewhere over in that neck of the woods. And the scenery here is just nuts. And this is the small island of New Zealand. I'm still amazed at what so on computers that still struggle to run current flights. For sure. F4 Celis Art. Looks great. Glad you... Welcome aboard, F4. Glad you like what you see. And the dumbfounding thing to me is the fact that it looks fantastic, and I'm not even on the highest settings. I'm barely on running any high settings, let alone the highest, and it's just amazing. You take care, Dougal. We'll definitely keep in touch on Discord, and we'll catch you in the next stream. You take care, and we'll catch you. Let's see. We need to do a tutorial how you're getting the views of the outside of the plane looking back over the fuselage. Basically, if it's the translate camera view controls in... when we get on the ground, I can show it in more detail. It's like cockpit camera up or forward or left or right. I just happen to have them set on my joystick so that I can just, you know, do this one-handed and go up, go down. Let's see. Tried FS 2020 in VR an hour ago. Definitely needs a lot more CPU juice to run at any views. So the frame rate GTX 1070 won't cut it. Yeah, it's VR is still on my wish list of wishes. So it's hello. But everything I've heard that once you can get the settings dialed in, it looks fantastic. Sounds good, Kingston. We'll get it all sorted out. And feel free to post publicly for the help as well, because you get more eyes on it and more options. But we'll do our best to get it sorted out for you. Uh, 3070 and HPG2 headset coming in a week or two, so it should be good enough. Yeah, you should be good. I know Murph runs, he has a GTX 2080 or RTX 2080 Ti, and an i90 something 100K processor, and he's got the settings dialed in, and it runs just fine for him. Steam VR indicates that I'm more than ready for VR with my Radeon RX 5600 XT. The only thing I don't have is a headset. Draco's in. Good afternoon. And no problem, Kingsman. We'll get it sorted out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the specs offhand of what would run VR, but I'm sure we can find them. The MSFS VR help section on Murphy's Discord, a good place for some of that info. Excuse me. The Steam VR tester is a bit outdated. 1060 is generally considered the minimum for general VR, but for any sort of simulator it won't do. Right on. Yeah, the card I have is fairly new. I think it's only... The line itself was introduced in the winter... The 2019-2020 winter. So it's a fairly new card, and I only got mine in April. So, who knows? I tried to send this earlier. This is the bypass steam air and go directly to the Oculus software. I mean, for me, it's all irrelevant because I don't even have a headset. I don't have the software or anything installed. I just went with a simple test. But I don't have a headset yet, and I'd really like to get one. I'm looking at getting the Rift S at some point, just because the technology's, it's been out for a while, so it's got a lot of the bugs worked out of it. That's what Murphy uses, and he says it's great, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. Let's see. DCX 1080 Ti and an i7-4790 has a medium settings and no issues in VR. I have the Rift S2. They built my rig not too long ago. Any help needed, you ask? Maybe I can help. Not VR though, so it's I only have the S. Only thing is to get an 80 hertz visual, so a bit fuzzy. I mean, as long as it looks believable, I'm fine with it. I mean, I run medium to high settings just in general, so I'm for the experience of VR, I'd be willing to sacrifice some visual fidelity. Biggles gotta go. You have a good one. And yes, it was good crack, and we look forward to more in the future. We'll catch you on Discord and on the next streams. You take care. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to VR. It's just the big thing I'm missing is just a headset. That's good to hear, Kingsman. Glad it's working out. Laptops can be a bit finicky when it comes to games. Let's see, the support for the Rift S is coming to an end shortly. I mean, just because official support is going to end doesn't mean the headset is going to suddenly stop working. I had to run essentially on minimum with super undersampling to get a consistent FPS, so this is... Oh, for sure. And I mean, I have zero expectations just in general. When I built this rig, I was expecting to be able to run low settings, and that's about it. And I surprised myself. So who knows? The biggest hurdle is just having a headset. Just had an AMD GPU CTD. We'll call it a night. Thanks. Well, sorry to hear that, Noel. Glad you were able to fly along with us as long as you could. But you take care, and we'll catch you on the Discord and on the next stream. You take care. Oh, for sure, Draco. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm missing is the headset. That's the hardware's the missing element. The next stop is November Zulu Whiskey Uniform. Warhamster was much better able to pronounce it than I. Said, by the way, how does this even deal with other players running aircraft you don't have in multiplayer? It basically just puts in a generic model. So if somebody's running a livery I don't have, or an airplane that I don't have, it just inserts a generic model into it. So I think we're on the lower edge of the mountain, so we may drop down 1,000 feet or so. But just look at that. There's Mount Doom. There's a good look at the mountain. Just absolutely stunning. So we're going to start a slow descent, just not all the way to the ground, but to a little lower than where we're at. So vertical speed to 300 feet a minute. Better to buy a non-PC only supported device such as a Quest 2. You take care, Seamus. Tell the wife that we said hello, and we'll catch you on the Discord and in the next stream. Yeah, there's, let's see, by the way, okay, I got it. Yes, looks like Mount Fuji, Japan. It really did. Excuse me. I honestly don't know much about like the Quest 2 or what. The thing with the Rift S is frankly the cost. It's a little more on the affordable range of sorts. There's a lot about the differences between VR headsets and whatnot that it's just above my head. Haven't quite researched it too terribly deep. I've mostly been going on recommendations from friends. Yeah, look at the state of the view, absolutely. Oh, I bet. Similar, then a Quest won't really be worth the inconvenience of the great overall cost compared to the Rift S or something like this. I've not. I'm also not somebody that's apt to get motion sick, so I think I'll be fine. I don't have any local friends that have it, and You know, with certain other things that's kind of an iffy thing to begin with. So we're nice. Yeah, VR, it's something that's always intrigued me, mostly in the sense of flight simming and even racing sims. Shooters, maybe swinging a sword or something like a Skyrim type game would be fun in VR. But for the most part, I'm more interested in the aspects of how it relates to flight sim or racing. Right on. Okay, that's Detroit Metro. That's a couple hours away. I'm usually in that area in the end of October, early November time frame. The Rift is the better one, I have been told. Yeah, I mean, Murphy uses it. He's used was it the Reverb? No, Vibe, something. There's so many. No worries, Draco. Appreciate the offer, though. But it's definitely VR is definitely has an appeal in a lot of ways for me. Just mostly related to flight sim. Another thing is how integrated Facebook is in the Oculus hardware. So if you worry about Facebook snooping around their VR stuff, gotcha. Let's see, but most on Amazon they have gone up in price. So it sounds like the Rift S has gone back to a more normal price. That's not much of a surprise. It's been a lot of that's Chris doing screen. Gotcha. We're about 15 miles out. At 500 feet, I'm fine. I've not. But something into the wind would be preferable. Boy, there's option. Oof. Let's go for what's the 29 center. Runway 29 center. The older them, yeah, for sure. Best Buy has them $300. Yeah. Just a matter of having the amount of fundage and the availability and all that. It's got to work together. I got some IRL things that I need to sort out rather soon to keep everything kind of motoring along. If it was right, may have fixed by random crash into a reboot. Well, that's an interesting. screen reflects resident. Not. Gotcha. Random crash into a reboot problem. Well, fixes are good. So we're less than 10. We'll get about 5 out. We're definitely losing altitude. So autopilot is disengaged. This side of Keen Lafford is in, doing well. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. As we see Ketmo at the field. So it's been a problem I had for months and only with FS. Well, what seems to have solved it for you? I've been having some AMD errors from time to time. As well as some other issues from time to time. But without knowing too much about stuff, it's hard to pinpoint what the issue may be. Only 125 days until the Eurovision. So we're going for 2-9er center. I'm going to assume is the one that's in tarmac. Notch of flaps in. Here out. Notch of flaps. We have Randy over to our right, or left, the other right. Left, your other right. I will say, having a more ultra-wide type monitor also really helps with a lot of things in flight sim. I know that the stream itself is 1920 by 1080, however, I do have a monitor that's 2560 by 1080. So that little extra bit actually helps a surprising amount. In peripheral vision. Notch of flaps. Power a bit more. So long and short of it, we're going for the asphalt runway. As Randy comes into screen. We're a bit windy. Turn off 2 of my 6 cores, core 0. I'll have to give that a shot. I've seen that before. I do have Project Lasso, so I'll have to give that a shot. Sparing, see, give that a whirl. So we're on glide slope now. Got full flaps, gears down. High. On glide slope. Gears centered, a little high. On glide slope. Low. Take a little low. Trying our best to stay on the center line. Throttle to idle. Start rolling out. Flare a little bit. Like silk. Pull off into the grass, put on the parking brake. There's Tarso. The runway is open for landings, open for arrivals. But yeah, Draco, that sounds like a good plan. I'll try to work that out. There's Catbat. Should be North Europe. East US was giving us fits. And North Europe so far has seemed to be stable enough. There's Papa Joe B. There's Tortuga. There's Druid. I have start taskmatic details. Now the question is with that. Ooh, Druid, drifting, Tokyo style. Do you have to do that every time, or does it remember the settings? Ooh, there's a Skyline with Kingsman, a Mooney with Red Dragon. Tortuga has to go. Back in 10. Gonna try to catch up on the last thing. Roger that. Right now, every time, but apparently. Gotcha. Red Pilot Randy is in with the Baron. Here comes Bad Dog. Nicely done, Bad Dog. That seems to be all of us down. Look at the scenery. That's just awesome. Ooh, what do we got over here? Some sort of track. Looks like some fun. And change service, aircraft, flew, 10 craft settings. Nice. I'll definitely have to give that a whack. Interesting. Alright, so our next leg is definitely going to be taking us over mostly water. But sure enough, we'll have fun regardless. Kind of see a little bit of every terrain. Getting things going. Power to get us moving. Look at that. It's just, I mean, I could gush about just how good the flight sim looks to no end almost. Just looks so good. Okay. One notch of flaps down. I'll double check our that are trim for takeoff. Gotta go, guys. Enjoyed as usual. See you next time. Absolutely, Randy. Good to have you along. Glad you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on Discord and on the next stream for sure. Easy to do a fast taxi in this thing. As everyone makes their way down, go ahead and get airborne. We'll start a left-hand orbit. Oh, crosswinds are always fun. And we're up. Positive rate. Tap the toe brakes. Gear coming up. There's 300 feet. Flaps going up. Nice little airport right by the sea. Oh, ooh, sorry, excuse me. Sea. John Mathers is in. Evening. Lurking's just fine. Glad to have you along regardless. Just made our third takeoff of the evening here in New Zealand. Right, so we're going to get in here. Flight director on. Arm nav mode. Vertical speed. Turn it on. We're going to go back down to 3,500. As the aircraft turns to intercept the flight path. Easy for me to say. I haven't even had a tasty adult beverage yet. We're going to drop RPMs to 2100. Make the manifold want match. Going for 3,500 here momentarily. And Bob's your uncle. Oh dear. Well, there you go. Well, that's unfortunate that you had another one. Hopefully the PSU helps. That's weird. It's weird that it's the only piece of software doing that, and not a more widespread issue. These clouds just a little. Just look at that. Wait. Oh, that if PC randomly reboots, it's supposedly a PSU. True, and post. Huh. Interesting. Now, most of my issues lately have come with the December released, well, the November and the December released AMD GPU drivers. Because before that, I would have the occasional one but it's not like it wouldn't happen a lot. And with the November and December drivers, it's gotten kind of ridiculous at how often I'll have some sort of AMD driver issue. I have the AMD Radeon RX 5600 XT. And I'm running a 650 watt power supply. But it definitely seems to be a driver issue, just because it didn't do it before. I think the driver release was more related to Cyberpunk, and that's when the issues started popping up. And I've considered rolling back the GPU drivers, but you know, I also have Cyberpunk installed, so it's kind of like, is it going to be fine without them, or what's going on? Issues with Cyberpunk? Not so far. At least no glaring issues. Although it's been a week since I played Cyberpunk, but I played like 7 or 8 hours worth and hadn't had any issues running Cyberpunk, other than needing to probably tweak my settings a little bit to make it run a little smoother. But beyond that, Yeah, I bet. And really, when with my issues, they're incredibly frustrating. But they've mostly been frustrating when they happen when I'm streaming, because you're trying to put on a show and this and that, and then just everything's just trying to get in the way, and it's just like no. It's I've been managing with it, but it does get frustrating. That's oh, for sure. It's that double edged of being upset but not being upset. But no, I get you. So we're looking for runway 34 for landing. That's going to give us the best crosswind coefficient. So looking forward to Thursday's stream. We'll be flying up the east coast of Lower Michigan. Which will be exciting. I'll be sure to have the flight plan and whatnot posted a little earlier than the last couple of flights have been. I'll have that up on the Discord and such. Absolutely. I do. Ironically enough, outside of this year, I spend a fair amount of time in the greater Metro Detroit area. Uh, I've volunteered with the Yankee Air Museum. I do historical reenacting. I've got several friends that live out that way. Um, Conventions and so on. Haven't picked out just what I intend to fly just yet. But we're going to be starting from Custer Airport near Monroe. And we'll end up in Sheboygan. Sheboygan with a C. Well, hello. I have picked out a flight plan that will take us over downtown. Detroit, so we'll get to see the Renaissance Center and such. Let's see, the Rift S is tethered to the PC, whilst the Quest 2 completely wireless, worth considering if you want to lay on the couch and watch a movie. Horses for courses, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I have to do a lot more research into VR. Wireless versus wired is kind of 6 to 1, half dozen the other. Pretty close to Willow Run. Dad knows a lot of the pilots. Nice. Done a few events at Willow Run between working on the ramp crew for the museum and doing World War II reenacting during Thunder over Michigan. This is probably the first year I haven't been over that way at least once for obvious reasons and some not so obvious reasons. But I do have quite a number of friends that live out that way. We're about 15 minutes out, and we still get to see some quite fantastic scenery on the way in. Well, you know, the airplane works a whole lot better when you put gas in it. Sorry for that, everybody. Hit the brakes there because the engine's turned off. Just in here watching the scenery and thinking to myself, and there's Piat. And didn't even lose any altitude. How about that? Yeah. Brake check. Sorry. Kind of hard to keep the speed when the engines are starved of fuel. How you doing, Piat? Hope you're well. Glad to see you. Ooh, here's a camera angle I'd like to try. How's that for a camera view? Oh, look at that. That's the wheel. Just look at the scene. Absolutely stunning. And of course, I'm sure they'll eventually toss out a Oceania update to update Australia, New Zealand, and surrounding islands. Of course, Sunday we visited the Solomon Islands, had Azimuth along, dropping some history, and that was a blast. Today we're here in New Zealand. MS screenshot simulator. Took some screenshots and put them on Facebook. Told people I was flying my C-172 in Vegas over the strip about it. I've had that a couple of times. I did some flying in Japan and I posted them to Facebook. And there's like, you were in Japan? I was like, sure. Papa Joe B. Woodson just crashed. Thanks, Colonel. See you next stream. Sorry to hear about the crash, Papa Joe, but glad to have you along regardless. We will catch you on the Discord and the next stream for sure, though. You take care. It really is amazing. It's Flight Sim Instagram. It's like virtual Instagram. Ed Reed is in. Hope you enjoyed your nap. We're here in New Zealand, about to make our final landing of the evening. Where'd the pilot go? Flying along with the Fireflies. I want to get mad at it for tech issues, but I can't when you see the views. Now I know why. I know the feeling. As frustrating as Flight Sim can be with tech issues, when it's working, it's just fantastic and makes up for it. I guess so, Ed, but that's quite all right. Sleep. When your body needs sleep, give it sleep. Tarso, I must say, even in Brazil, where in FS terms is the last boundary to be nice looking, things are stunning. You can read the terrain. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's been the best part, one of the best parts of this iteration of Flight Sim is just the visual reckoning of being able to navigate visually. You know, the VFR, the out the window flying is so much better because of the satellite imaging, even in the remote areas where it's kind of maybe not the sharpest or best. It still ends up being a fantastic experience. So we're about 17 miles out, 7 minutes. Quick question, when you download Anon free aircraft, do they go into the default community folder? Yes. So runway in sight. So we're going to fly past the runway and then come in from the opposite end. But yeah, any third-party freeware or even payware, if you get it from outside the marketplace, it just gets installed into the community folder. The big thing to look out for that, though, is not having a folder in a folder in the community folder, because that's tripped me up. And it'll be like, I'll install something and then go in the sim and it's not there, and like, well, wait a minute. It may be a folder in a folder. Two-Tone Murphy's in. Busy night. We're doing all right, my dude. We're just finishing up our flight here in New Zealand. No, it's just community folder and then the add-on folder. We'll get you sorted, Kingsman. You don't worry. Channeling Murph and doing the fun cameras. Just look at it. Yes, Ed, same for scenery. Whether it's scenery or aircraft, livery, nav data, even in the case of like Navigraph, it just all goes in the community folder, so long as it's not something that was bought in the in-sim marketplace. If it was in the in-sim marketplace, it'll go to the official folder, which doesn't get messed with a whole lot. But so anything acquired outside of the in-sim marketplace goes in the community folder and is treated as a community or what have you kind of item. The other island of New Zealand is pretty cool too. It has Hobbiton and Mount Doom. That's the island we were on. We flew around-ish in vicinity of Mount Doom. So we're gonna go switch to and lose. No, we'll change that. Yeah, and anything but in the in-sim marketplace just automatically goes there. You don't even have to move anything. Just automatically gets installed. No worries, Piat. Anyone get the update today? I didn't see an update. Nothing popped up when I loaded the sim. If it was released after I loaded the sim, then I haven't gotten it yet. We're gonna go ahead. We're 5 miles out. Flight director comes off. Mixture and prop go to full. We reduce manifold pressure. We use the trim so that we're also reducing speed. Remember, we're gonna fly past and then turn 180 degrees and land. And it shows. Well, I suppose no news is good news. Or at least no news is just no news. Who knows? So, welcome to Wellington. I'm given to understand it is the capital of New Zealand. And you better hope you get the landing or you're going to go swimming. It really does. The green, the white, and the gold is just, it's a beautiful combination of colors. Especially with the gold being metallic and not a, just a flat color. For sure. Notch of flaps in just to help slow down. And here's the downside about having a low wing aircraft is you can't look down at the ground when you're right over it. No worries, Ed. I don't think I have my caps filter turned on, so I'm not. I think we'll be fine. But yeah, it's beautiful. And we're getting bouncy. We're getting bounced around pretty good. We're gonna try to lose some more airspeed so we can get the landing gear down safely. Come on. Let's hold the nose up and gear down. Put in an extra notch flat. Oh dear. For some reason, VR and multiplayer don't go together too well. That's unfortunate. Well, Murph's been having fair luck with it, but maybe it's a case of mileage may vary. I wouldn't know. So we have the runway in sight. I'll put in that last notch of flaps. These are trim. Yeah, and that even goes with non-VR flying. You get so many airplanes in one area and it just wreaks havoc with performance. I'm reasonably certain the gear is down. It certainly is. So we're on approach. It's very, very pretty. I would love to see this in person, Ed. Power a little bit more. Stable like. Slowly reduce power to idle. Roll out. Start our flare. Butter. Almost like I know what I'm doing. So we'll dive off the runway quick. Just park it over yonder. Parking brake set. Drone camera activated. Oh dear. So as cap at 9 is in. Mind the crosswind. There's Tarso. Piat in the Caravan. There's Druid and Kingsman. Nicely done. Bad Dog is in. We got a TBM of Draco. We've come a long way, Ed. We all do a fantastic job. There's Red Dragon and Tortuga coming in. There's Red Dragon with the Mooney. Nicely done. Much appreciated, Kingsman. Glad you enjoyed it. Waiting on, we're gonna listen to the waves, watching Tortuga come in. We're just gonna picture ourselves on the beach, airplane watching. I couldn't tell you, Ed, but it kind of almost makes sense. Hipmo, this has been fun. We'll be joined for more now that I have a new PC that gets awesome. Good to hear. Can't wait to have you on more flights. They're always a ton of fun to host. I say host. But yeah, look for another our Thursday stream to take place in Michigan. I'm gonna fly up the East Coast from the near Toledo to Sheboygan with a C. Glad you all enjoyed it, as Tortuga is getting closer and closer to final. In the MB339 in the Irish colors. Nicely done. Glad everyone has enjoyed it. I certainly did myself. Got to explore a new part of the world. See some amazing sights. Have some good conversation. And just all around tons of fun to be had. We get the mountains, we get the trees, we get the ocean, we got the airport. Awesome. Thanks everybody for coming along. Thank you, Mean Deef, for the follow over on Twitch. Much appreciated. Glad you all came along. Yes. Glad you all enjoyed it, but until next time, to everyone out there, thanks for coming along. And until next time, be good to each other. Stay safe out there. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.